Alright, Returnal is starting. And it's lagging like hell. I should say it's hell-ish lag. It's not lagging like hell. It's not that bad. Okay, it's that bad. Don't worry, I'll lower my settings once we're no longer in space. Approach forbidden. Yeah, coming off of just finishing Halo 3, it's gonna feel weird to being in another space setting game, but with completely different context. But I'm here for it. Oh no. You should probably pull up. Ah, see, I told you. Told you. Oh yeah, that ship's on fire. You don't want that. Ideally, you don't have the fire on your ship. Ah, see, now that, you don't want that to happen. That's an unideal landing. That's not how I would have done it. See, your first instinct is to land that way, but you have to unlearn that and not do that.
Astra, this is Celine. I've crashed on Atropos. I survived, but
these leaves look edible. Like I could grab one and eat it.
Operational, but my sidearm is missing. I'm leaving comms open.
All right. All right. Now, how do I set it to 200 FOV? I can't, but I can lower some of these settings. VSync? Not a chance. Epic? There's pretty much the 6 essential settings, which is turning off reflections and raising FOV. Depth of field? I don't know. How epic is epic? Sounds like a bit of an oversell graphics-wise. Okay, yeah. I just gained 300 frames. Does feel a little weird. I kind of... I want to plug in my controller and see if it feels better. But I'll play through.
Abandoning Helios. Heading towards White Shadow Broadcast.
God. I'm sad that you can't do a Vanquish slide. But I also have to accept that that probably wasn't an expected feature.
Contains extensive ruins of a xenotype civilization. Ancient walls, foundations, and statues.
Whoa, a square.
Scout log. Atropos. I have found a deceased Astra Scout here.
It's the Unreal built-in quality setting. Yeah, it would be. I never really realized that. That's why they're called epic graphics. I kind of just thought that was an industry thing. I guess ultra is what everyone else does. Oh, that's a very pretty super soaker.
Continuing towards the signal's origin.
There's no Vanquish slide, but there is a cool dash, which is almost as good. Large Silphium. Yeah, I'd have to wager this is where those roguelike elements start coming in. Although, it's probably essential items. I'm gonna start finding some random funny gunk in different rooms. Alright, so to catch you up lore-wise, I crashed. And that's it. I'm aggressively new to animation. Do I have paid content tutorials? Me? Are you asking the streamer if I have like, if I'm on one of those teacher websites? No. Trust me, you don't want my tutorials on how to animate. You would find a better tutorial on how to fix an engine with duct tape. That being said, it never hurts to just pick up like a trainer model, just a character model, a free, like one of the Blender default free characters, and then just practice with it. The first thing I did when I was learning 3D animation was literally make the default Blender cube bounce up and down and do flips. Just learn your software. Am I gonna have to do this for every item? Okay.
Recorded log found. Adding to databank. Playing back now.
I'm torn between Blender and SFM. I'm gonna be honest, just start with Blender. Everything you learn in Blender will translate to SFM in some degree, but the vice versa isn't necessarily true. There's a lot of stuff. SFM's great. And if you really don't care about longevity, then sure, just get that. But if you want to, like, set yourself up for success, start Blender. The benefit of SFM is there's not a bunch of tools that you don't need. With SFM, it's like just animation, nothing else. So it's pretty simple to understand. But you also end up constricted in many ways, and you won't be able to animate as easily as you could in Blender. Like something as simple as making a camera follow a very predefined line. It's all manual in SFM. In Blender, you can literally just make a line, a squiggle, an S shape, a circle, or whatever, and then just lock the camera onto that shape, which you can't do in SFM. Alright, I'm pulling my brain out of animation mode and trying to figure out what the fuck I'm doing. I'm guessing I gotta go back the way I came. Blender is an industry standard. You're technically right. Technically it's not. Technically, Maya or 3ds Max is industry standard. I think Blender is capable of industry standard work, but for whatever reason, it's actually kind of rare that you hear a project's being made in Blender. That being said, I heard some of Spider-Verse. I heard some of that was done in Blender. Some of the animators on that project were posting on Twitter, and like they would use grease pencil for some of the line work. I don't know if they did animation in it, but Cinema 4D is becoming standard. And Houdini. Oh. Shows what I know, because I don't know jack about cinema. But that's cool too. I don't need the video tutorial, I just want that off my screen. It's all about sunk cost, Funk. There are about 2 or 3 generations of 3D animators that have only used Maya or 3ds Max. Yeah, that's fair. I guess when you use the term industry standard, my brain went to what is most commonly used in the industry, as opposed to what is capable of industry-grade work.
Security system encountered.
By that definition, Blender, like, is beyond industry standard. It's like one of those programs where you'll get exactly as much mileage out of it as you're willing to put in elbow grease. Like, you can get a lot of results with it. You just gotta really learn the software. Gianni played Returnal on stream with his wife. 1, I didn't know he was married. Good for him. 2, fuck! He beat me again. I wasn't even trying to beat him with this game. I just wanted to play Returnal. He beat me again. I like the cyan enemy color. It's different. It's pretty. I guess that's more of an aqua than a cyan, but you know what I mean. I'm interested to see how this game handles story, since it does sort of feel like roguelike formula, which is just running between rooms, but it does seem like there's a bit more polish. Ball. Big ball.
I've discovered piled corpses of a xenotype species.
If you ever see Moobot post in chat, just ignore it. I've been trying to disable that for weeks and it won't go away. I don't know how to make Moobot act its age. Where are you pointing, buddy? That? I guess I could turn my hand back on. But I don't wanna. I have shy fingers. Really banking on having iframes here. Really banking on it. I banked on the wrong horse. Okay, what is this, Space Odyssey? It says your dash does have iframes. Impressive of you to think that I read
Eileen. I survived the... Can you hear me? I'm in my ship.
This is...
Suit status operational and...
This is new? I'm gonna just pretend that was one of those early boss fights that you have to lose. And that this was all essential. Boy, that's a lot of reading.
I've already experienced this before.
Yeah, me too. Did I ever toy with Rocket League? Yeah, I actually played in like a casual competitive team at some point too. That was like 8 years ago. Maybe not 8. Me, Tyke, and Voltroid had a Rocket League team. And I think we like lost 3 of our matches and then stopped playing. But yeah, no, I played a lot of Rocket League. I mostly only ever played goalie because I was not good at aerials. Which is surprising because I like movement, but it's a very different feel in a game like that. Death Swine, alright. I'm in the hub world. Alright, back to the old grind. FUNKe, how do you do character animations for videos? Can you do it by recording a VTuber model? The stuff I do, it would be very difficult to do via mocap. Well, I mean, not impossible. It depends on how many corners you're willing to cut. No, in my videos, it's all hand animation. And then it's just not splined, which is why it like sort of looks stop motion. Because it doesn't smooth the movements. By VTuber model, I don't totally know what you mean. I'm guessing you... Oh, it's like a... online mode. I'm guessing you mean like how...
The environment.
Like in one of those programs where you can have a 3D model and then use your webcam or whatever. No. I've actually looked into whether or not I could mocap anything. But the thing is, to do stop motion mocap, you would have to interpolate the frames to only... like... to only display every 4 frames, so it would be on 12s or something. Or every 2 frames, I guess, if it's 24 FPS. It would be tricky. It would be tricky to make it look stop motion. Based off of, like, mocap footage. Which is kind of what you're asking. Like... I think the answer you're looking for is just a flat no. If you really want to indulge the question, there is a theoretical scenario where you have good motion capture set up, and then your animation software has a way to interpolate that information down into less frames. If you're willing to jump a million hoops, maybe you can get a semblance of it. Not with VTuber, but with mocap, really. But yeah, for the most part, no. I don't think so. I think some of this I learned because, and it's kind of funny because I was doing this before I did the hand tubing thing. I wanted to see if I could mocap just when I, like, point at stuff. When it's just the hands in a video. Sort of like when there's hands on the screen. In my stream. I wanted to find out if there was a faster way to do that. And there kind of is. But yeah, it's just a pain in the ass to stylize, basically. Maybe with VR. I know there are ways to do it, but it's not easy or interesting to describe. Anyways, if you're just looking to do VTuber stuff, I mean, generally the most you can kind of do is just have a stationary character Because VTubing software isn't made to let you stand up and walk around the room. It only captures the webcam and then translates your body movements, but a lot of VTuber setups aren't designed for full body motion. Which is why I keep saying mocap, because if you're trying to animate a character walking around, at that point you need to handle a lot more information. There's some sick neural net things to make hand capture amazing. I believe it. Yeah, I've messed with like Blender's tracking and stuff to a much lesser extent than that. And there are a lot of approaches to do like hand capture, but it's literally just been easiest for me to have a tracker designed to follow hands. Like I just have a leap motion and it's a little sensor designed to track hand motions. It does the job. I've thought about whether it's theoretically possible to sort of do VTubing with like my Bomby model, but it's just the head and hands. And I sort of concluded it would be too uncanny and weird and unrefined, unpolished to really be worth it. You will notice a pattern of when I start talking about stuff I'm interested in. I will walk in circles doing nothing. So let me zone in and move towards my investigation point, which is back where I came. I like doing my animation stuff independent of the stream. I don't like doing half measures. Not to say that VTuber software isn't impressive or that you can't get impressive results with it, but what I like to do, if I want that level of quality, I'll just hand animate it.
New technology discovered.
Yeah.
Augments my weapon with an alternative firing mechanism.
Q to toggle.
Highly
Ooh.
effective. This will be useful.
Damn. Yeah, I gotta be mindful to not zone out playing this game, because there's so much going into it. Like, you get invested in the roguelike stuff, it's easy to forget that this is a fully tailored experience, too. What I really need is to heal my ass right now. There might be a funny scenario where you just do VTubing and it's really tacky
Acquired a xenotype
and it still
weapon,
works, but
similar to our carbine technology.
yeah, if I'm gonna do stuff like that, I like to keep it a novelty and not the status quo. I'm like one shot zone right now, which is why I want to be really cautious.
Which is the white shadow signal. I can't cross the chasm. For now, I'll change objectives and investigate the energy reading in the forest.
Maybe I could cross it if I jump really high. I have a jetpack. My ass still needs to heal. I just don't know if I've fully clued into this game's healing mechanic. I think you're also gonna find bullet hell mechanics in this game. Another selling point. Oh. I'm hurting over here. Not quite. Not quite within reach. I don't think. No, not this way. So many trees in this game. When the streamer starts pointing out the amount of trees, that's a pretty good indicator that they have nothing else to talk about. How much foliage in the forest today? My friend sent me a... I was talking to some friends and someone just like shared a photo of like a deer at a... next to the street staring at him. But the thing I noticed was that the trees in his state are like 5 times the size of the ones in my state. And I just started... I don't know, I started thinking about how different people have a different frame of reference for how big a tree should be. Because, like, you would never find something like this in Georgia. Even something like this is kind of pushing it, honestly. I'm trying to find a tree that's properly Georgia-sized. Something like that. I don't know. I guess I'm just envious of people with really big trees. Because I don't have a very big tree. Yeah, I did just try to wall run. And no, I don't regret it. Alright. Time to look at my Doom 2016 map. So, there's a blue door. That means I can probably use it. There's health this way too. Couple health actually. Yeah, I'm gonna go do that. What's my favorite tree? I'm a bit of a pine boy. I love the scent. I love the smell of a sticky, sappy pine tree. But if we're going purely on aesthetic, I'd lean towards something like a cherry blossom. I think there's a lot of red oaks in Georgia, but I don't have a strong opinion on them. Oh, that's why there's health here, because it's at the bottom of a freaking pond. Yeah, I'm kind of a basic bitch when it comes to trees. A basic birch. That's funny. I wish I came up with that. It's unrecoverable, but I feel safe in here. And maybe I left a candy bar out to heal off. No candy bars. My favorite type of tree is the lamp. The lamp posts. It's an inorganic tree, but it's very pretty. I've mentioned this before on stream, but there's a park I like to walk around sometimes. It's like a running trail near a park. And they label all the different kinds of trees in the park. And for some reason, they have labels under all the lampposts that treat them as if they're a type of tree. And they just call it like a luminous fern. I get a chuckle whenever I walk by them. cannot use that. I regret starting the level half-heartedly, because now I'm gonna have to hug the right wall. Never mind, this is different. I don't feel great about what I just did, but it gets results. Oh, thank God. What? I'm still coming up positive. I thought it was a drop down. Alright, alright. Back to the old grind. I promise I read stuff when I'm not streaming, and I don't have a topic of discussion to entrench myself into. How do you feel about movement so far, Western man? Okay, well, number one, racist. I'm actually on the East Coast of the west side of the Earth. Second, feels good. I like the momentum in the air. I mean, it's not a whole lot to work with. It's just a dash. It's not like there's no wall running or sliding or anything insane. I definitely feel vertically challenged right now. But other than that, pretty good. See if that translates to the rest of the game. I was so scared of that thing. The whole reason I didn't go this way was I thought that thing would kill me.
Scout log, Atropos. Who triggered the broadcast? Do you see the white shadow is something only I should know? And now, out of literally nowhere, I'm hearing it again. Were the sentients involved? But how would they have known?
White Shadow is a very
There are answers
interesting name, because it's an oxymoron. The shadow is the lack of light. Then why would you name something a white shadow? Did you know that the only thing that travels faster than light is technically the lack of light? Which otherwise known as a shadow. It's a technicality, but if you point a really big light into space and then block that light, the shadow will occur faster than the shadow will reach the surface it's hitting faster than the light would. a weird, sensible, but hard to wrap your head around phenomena. As most space stuff is. I don't think that's true. It is. I'm just describing it in a weird way. Maybe it's more accurate to say it can travel as fast as light. But regardless, the only other thing that can reach a surface, like if I'm not even gonna explain it anymore. Shadows are cool. Smile.
I have interacted with other versions of myself, but I worry one day I will re-experience these same interactions from their perspectives. But are they truly me? Or just hollowed corpses? This may be the face of things to come.
Here's another cool light fact. Technically, our eyes never developed a need to see ultraviolet light, like any lights outside of the visible spectrum. But technically, if our eyes were capable of seeing ultraviolet, they would still kind of work mostly the same. You would just see certain technology glowing, like a phone or a TV or anything that excretes UV light. It would sort of have a glowing aura around it, since it has like UV expelling from it. But there's technically like you wouldn't go blind. Like there's like rumors that if we could see more light than the visible spectrum, you would be blinded every time you go outside, because, you know, space is just full of light. But it would really just be kind of shiny. It wouldn't be like blinding. At least not for UV. If you go a little further in the spectrum, you might go blind. It's actually really cool. If you ever like seeing cool abstract visual stuff, just look up like what it would look like to if we could see UV light. It's pretty. Salty, whatever you just said, that's probably what I was thinking.
Discovered xenotype
I'm not gonna read that and then risk sounding like an idiot when I
potential for suit augmentation.
get tangented.
Appears safe to repurpose. System integration complete. Performing a function test to confirm.
There's a lot of like cool weird light effects. Like if I don't remember the exact conditions, it might be being able to see UV light. But it might be infrared too. If our eyes could like see more of the spectrum, you could theoretically see objects through walls. Like people through walls due to heat and other weird rays that can travel through physical surfaces, but exist beyond the visible spectrum. Light is cool, smile. Oh, I have a cool travel. I have a fast travel now. I do be hurting again. I'm gonna take it.
Confirmed. Point-to-point teleportation. Location exit seems fixed.
Oh my god, I thought I died. I thought something shot me off screen. Yes, free crap. I could get used to getting healed. Another fun eye fact, eyes probably developed when early life evolved photosynthesis and the entire Earth froze over due to O2 influx. The first eyes were probably just proteins that could detect light, because that was where the ice covering the oceans was thinnest. Yeah, honestly. Photosynthesis makes plants look for the sun, which is just light. I mean, it's also heat and all that, but it would totally make sense that eyes originate from just trying to see, you know, see. That makes a lot of sense. It's energy. Yeah, but I guess they're yeah. I'm not a scientist. Oh, I get to buy items even in like go away, G-Force. Even in a post-apocalypse, I still have to barter. Yeah, sure. It would be funny if humans could photosynthesize. Just for the sole imagery of a bunch of people just laying out starfish style in the sun whenever you go out.
Discovered a fragment of this.
Have I been to a beach? You know what? Never mind. It wouldn't be cool. I don't want... No one wants to see that.
Detecting a strange energy reading. Setting a marker on my map.
Is sunburn just the equivalent of choking to a being that photosynthesizes? Important thoughts.
Genotype device acquired.
Nice.
This will prove a useful tool.
Alt fire cooldown. What do you think light would taste like? Like the sun? God, the sun would taste so good. I don't know what the sun would taste like. I just know it would taste really good. Like, my brain goes... Okay, my brain's not going. I was hoping it would start. But I can't, like, Sunny D, I guess. It would be like orange juice. But your whole skin could taste it. It would feel like... It would feel like when orange juice hits your tongue, but everywhere. That's what I think the sun would taste like. Spit your eggs. Oops. Grave mistake. Yeah, I kind of need it. The real question is, what would artificial light taste like? Like, if you just stood next to a lamp, would that taste like gross? Or would it taste like candy because it's artificial? Like, I feel like it's only one or the other. A lamp is either the sugar equivalent for something that photosynthesizes, or it's like rancid, and there's no middle ground. I guess it depends on factors. Like a fluorescent bulb would taste like shit. But one of those 1940s amber bulbs that sort of imitate a candle, that would be like grandma's homemade light source right there. I don't have a key, right? Yeah, okay. What is the key thing? The key is the triangle. Okay. Am I referring to skin taste buds? I'm referring to photosynthesis in the most human terms possible. Which is that I think it would taste good. I think that an amber old light bulb would taste like caramel. Or perhaps toffee. In this theoretical scenario. That's all. That's all I'm saying. I don't feel like it's confusing or weird at all. I think it's a normal thought. What would neon signs taste like? They would taste like those wax candies that are full of, like, Gatorade.
Encountered a small life form. Seems docile.
It's cute. I want one.
Parasitically attached to my arm.
Good news, I have one.
Does not appear hostile.
Well, how do you know it's parasitic? That's a little judgmental of you, lady.
It's strengthening and weakening my suit.
Maybe it's helping. They have both beneficial and detrimental effects. Well, then it sounds like symbiosis to me. Sort of. Wait, the blaster I picked up... Okay. I guess I just didn't pick it up. Gotcha. I wonder what that light would taste like. Blue Gatorade. Blue raspberry. Yeah, unless controller has aim support, I would rather play this on mouse. Pretty. I want it, I just don't want to deal with whatever the purple is. One fewer kill required to increase adrenaline, but worse efficiency. Yeah, I'll go for it. Alright, I think I'm starting to, like, get the vibe of this game. The purples are the roguelike effects. The trade-offs. Green is healing. That's all you need.
I've encountered our black box technology holograms. They're showing...
Okay, you go.
my last moments.
Did I just watch a Dark Souls blood spot? They got their ass beat. Fabricates a random item in exchange for increasing amount of obolites. Give me the ray gun. That ain't no ray gun. Higher chance for hostiles to explode. No question about it, I'm using that. It's okay, I've learned to pay attention to the minimap. I can't fathom how anyone would ever land on an alien planet and then do anything but just huddle in their ship crying. I mean, to just go into the wild with a gun and hope for the best. It's pretty ballsy. I think I would just use my phone until it ran out of battery. Speaking of running out of battery, guess who just lost to a boss fight?
Crash. Again.
It's so crazy how I've crashed 3 different times.
They can't hear me. I'm alone.
Like if it was in real life, this was me.
The environment has changed.
This is, I think this is the farthest I would ever go from my ship. Just to look at the leaves. I would wake up at like whatever is 9 a.m. and I would walk to this tree. I would grab these mushrooms, eat them, and then die because they're poisonous. But that is the closest food source to my ship. And you know, you can bet your ass I'm not going to those rocks. Not in the first 3 weeks at least. Most people do that. They just don't get games made out of their stories because they do nothing and then die. Well, where's the games for people like me who want to see themselves in a protagonist? I just feel it's a little unrealistic to have someone with a spine. I'm joking, in a sense. I guess after a while, you don't really have an option. You just sort of have to shape up and... I mean, I'd probably rather... I'd rather go out fighting something than through starvation. Because if anything, the adrenaline will soften the... You know, the whole dying experience. If we're being honest, it's better to die full of adrenaline than full of stress and no other chemicals. Wouldn't that be Y2K? Wouldn't that be Yick? Yeah. It would. How do you die, sucker? Fighting at range. They dodge, fall, and then boom. Nice one. What the fuck?
Something has infected one of my scout corpses.
It's like dancing in a beautiful sense. I'm playing on the Steam version of this game, which is why the UI might look different. Augments, increase. Okay. I got 4 of those words. I think I'm ready. The shield does not get smaller. Good to know. I want to play a game. You know how, like, in DMC5, sometimes you'll be in levels where you can see another person playing from, like, across the map? I want a survival horror game where you just play as a coward who won't get into fights, but somewhere far off screen you can see like the actual protagonist killing everything, and your objective is to just survive until that guy kills everyone. It's like playing Amnesia, but Dante shows up and starts slaughtering everything. I want to play that game. My lock-on was locked, ironically enough. I couldn't unlock it. Whoa! Time to gamble. Hey, stop it. Stop it, you. I mean, these are pretty complex structures, so it clearly is a planet that once harbored sentient life. The question is, what happened to those guys? Because I don't think these brains in jars are the ones that need concrete staircases and temples. Yeah, I got no idea how to deal with you, buddy. So I won't. For literally. Uh-oh. Safety first. I don't have a lot of money in the piggy bank right now. Shame. Oh, this is what happened to the sentient life. Gotcha. Their world got overtaken. One upside, a lot of free shit on the ground now, since they're dead.
Evidence of rudimentary xenotype language discovered.
Our severed brethren, agitated waters, maddening agony, stop the endless cycle of...
Is this translating correctly? Severed brethren. Maddening agony.
Ooh. So a couple of the the horny boys, they have horns. The horned boys got turned, and then shit went southward. That's my vibe. Could only translate 30% of that. That's what I needed. Oh yeah. This is what I saved my alt attack for. Iframes, don't fail me now. Nope. I guess looking away from the biggest elephant in the room is counterproductive. Don't scream. You've done this 6 times already. You don't need to scream. You act like you've never been stranded before. I'm actually gonna lower my sensitivity just a wee bit. That's why I've been dying. So I won't die now. I finished watching Baki, and then I learned that I watched the last season of Baki instead of the first. Because Netflix geniusly decided they were going to name one season of Baki. One Baki series is called Baki Hanma, which is all of the latest events in Baki, or at least at that point. But Baki actually starts in another series called Baki. Baki, not Hanma. And apparently, they actually don't cover the events of Baki Hanma, the grappler, fighter, something something. So there's an OVA from like 20 years ago that you have to watch. So you have to watch Baki, then a random OVA, then Baki Hanma to watch Baki in chronological order. Basically, shit's fucked. I don't know whose decision it was to do that, but I loved Baki Hanma so much that I'm just gonna go back and watch everything else. It earned it. It's just weird because I'm learning there was like a shit ton of stuff that I never knew about Baki. There were like 20, there were like a bunch of important characters that never showed up in Baki Hanma. And so I'm gonna have to go back and learn all of the events. It's just weird. I understand why they do it. I think animes do that so that people will start watching the new series as opposed to feeling like they have to start from the beginning. But like, goddamn, I wish I had watched it from the start. Luckily, the Baki manga continues well after the end of the show. So I have some reading material now. I won't spoil anything. I will say shit gets so much weirder. Which is to be expected at this point. I mean, I think I've seen Baki piss himself like 30 times strategically at this point, so... weird is okay. Pickle. There was a point where I just started screenshotting Baki every time they said something funny. And one of my favorite out of context lines in Baki is, "You know all of these men came here for that pickle." One of my favorite sentences. Also, I love Pickle. Other than, like, all the fucked up stuff he did. But I love that the writer didn't write them like a one-off bit. I died, by the way. I was talking about pickles. My favorite part of Baki is the surprising amount of the show that isn't about Baki. Yeah. I think that's... I was talking about this yesterday on stream, but Baki writes actual characters. Like, everyone... Like, any villain in JoJo shows up, establishes that they're evil, almost wins in the first half of the fight, and then gets creamed in the second half. And then you never learn anything else about them, because Araki writes villains. He doesn't write people. But in Baki, even like the biggest villains, they will get dozens of chapters, tens of episodes of full progress and development. And the show has a really good formula where Baki sort of comes in at the end. He's on the sideline until he's relevant. And I don't know. It's so fucking good, man. Like, you could turn on almost anyone in Baki into the main character. Like, almost all of them could just have a spin-off, and I would have full faith that it's good. Which is something I can't say for a lot of anime or manga. You want to know the best part of Baki? The best part, easily? Baki Hanma is 5'6". And he's the strongest man on Earth, arguably. Alleged. That's really what the series is about, but I don't know. That gives me a little faith. He just like me. For real, for real. I say that half jokingly, but a lot of the series actually is sort of grappling. No pun intended. Well, pun intended. Grappling with the fact that Baki is almost always objectively diffed in weight class and height class. Like, he's almost always getting towered over. But he's so, like, educated on how to execute certain things that it doesn't really matter. Bro can reach Mach 5 at 5'6". I think that's why he can go that fast. Because he's that small. Not small, because he's compact. As God wished us all to be. Have I really just been stuck in the first room? Oh, it's because I've been avoiding this little dude. That's why I've been meandering. But yeah. Baki is the best anime, arguably. That's been my takeaway from... We're pretty much binging all of it. Also, I just got massively raided, and I don't have my hand tuber software open. It's a travesty, but thank you. Before 80% of you close the stream, watch Baki. That's all. That's all. Alright, now you're good. It's okay, we love your videos. Oh shit. I didn't even expect any of you to know that. Thank you. Yeah, I've never played Returnal before. But it's a fast game, and you have a gun in it. Which is really all I need. And I'm on a fresh run. And I'm poor. It's a shame. Am I watching Netflix Baki? I watched Baki Hanma. Like the newest one. I'm a part skipper. Apparently. Not by choice. Big graveyard. Oh yeah. Start on... Baki Hanma's like the last one. So... I mean, I watched that one and I loved it. But if you're trying to start Baki... You should technically start with... Just Google the watch order. I don't know, I'm not your mom. I'm not gonna... spell it out for you. If I was on an alien planet and I saw a single one of these creatures, I think I would actually fall to my knees and beg. Because they don't speak English, but I would hope that the aliens understand, like, universal language of emotion and desperation. Has there ever been a protagonist like that in any media? Where they put themselves in brave situations and then fucking crumble the second there's even an ounce of pushback? I think that's just Mob Psycho, now that I think about it. Usopp? Yeah, well, I meant ones that do it successfully and somehow still win. Usopp doesn't really count because he's surrounded by people that actually get shit done. FUNKe played a Metroidvania a while back. It was a sheep-goat hybrid. It had like PS1 graphics. You're thinking of Pseudo Regalia, which is one of the fucking coolest modern indie Metroidvanias. Pseudo Regalia. I played it on Steam. Comes highly recommended. Super fun movement mechanics in that game. Super weird, unintuitive level design. But once you understand the gimmick, it'll click for you. Pseudo Regalia. There. I said it 3 times. Which is, all you need. Is there more Baki? A 3rd season has not been confirmed. And since it's Netflix and nothing ever makes it to season 3, I'm guessing no. However, the manga continues, so there is more Baki content. So if they wanted to adapt it, it's probable they would confirm it by the start of next year. And technically they've done 2 adaptations of Baki on Netflix, so the fact that they greenlit a second one indicates that it did well enough to get continued. So maybe. I don't know what you mean. Big Mouth got 7 seasons? Yeah, but that's only because the creator of that has like a billionaire dad, who like billionaire parents. That's a show with familial funding. It doesn't matter how poorly that show might perform, which is it does perform well, I think. But I'm saying even if it didn't perform well, there's a reason shows like that make it that far. Stuff like Baki, though, it's you gotta earn that right. Just keep it schmovin'. I have 200. I can probably afford something. 5% weapon damage. Gaining or fixing malfunction repairs integrity. That one kind of interests me, because I get the feeling I'm going to need to take a malfunction soon. This game was PS5 exclusive for like, what, 3 years? When did this come out? Like 2021? I just remember seeing it at like every single Game Awards and in every single Direct, other than Nintendo Direct, really. And like the State of Play, I guess, to be more accurate. And I forgot how long I had to wait to actually get it. Let's see. According to Google, Returnal's release date. Yep, April 30th, 2021. So about 2 years. About time. I wonder if I can cheese this. Sneaky. Was it worth the wait? Yeah. I mean, I'm having fun. It's not a game I was waiting hand and breath over. It was kind of just something I kept seeing and kept getting reminded I couldn't play. And I'd say it's worth it, given I didn't stop after 20 minutes. Which is usually what I do with a game, if it doesn't click. Oh, you're here. They just let anyone into this party. Yeah. There's... Oh, cool. There's one health pack in the room, and I just wasted it by looking at my minimap. That's okay. That's fine. Oh, I'm in trouble. Oh, remember that health pack I mentioned? It was the illusion of choice. It wasn't even real. there is zero reason to buy a PS5. I disagree. My door was mounted at an angle, so it always naturally closes itself. So it's actually pretty useful to have a doorstop around. So you can just walk your statement back. The PS5 is useful. What am I supposed to do when all these papers on my desk start flying away? I mean, the last time I bought a PlayStation console was to play Bloodborne. The PS4, I got Bloodborne, I got Spyro, and I got Dreams. Those were the 3 reasons I got a PS4. And honestly, worth it for Bloodborne, not worth it for much else. The Spyro trilogy was alright, but I don't know, at that point I just would rather emulate. I mean, is God of War? Is that a PS exclusive? Or was? I don't know, I'm not a gamer, I don't keep up with exclusivity. Unless it's Returnal. Or Bloodborne. Ragnarok is? Okay. Someone would be excited about that. I'm trying to think about what reason someone would want to get an Xbox over a PS. Anything. And the only reason I can think is like crossplay. Because at that point, anything that's going to Xbox is also going to PC. So if you're going to get a console, at least PlayStation has some exclusives, you could make the argument. Whereas, what are you getting for an Xbox? Game Pass? Shit, yeah, I guess Game Pass is up there. Confession, I don't have a sex box. I don't even know what the current console gen is. I just know that it doesn't have new video games. You can use Game Pass on PC. Yeah, but I was thinking only in terms of someone who only wants a console and they don't want a PC. What would make them want to choose Xbox? But I kind of got checkmated with Game Pass, to be honest. Green is a nice color. Yeah. I'm inclined to agree. Now, why would a flying beast need tentacles? The whole point of tentacles in the context of like a jellyfish or a squid. Actually, because I guess octopus have them too, and they're pretty intelligent. I was gonna say jellyfish only have tentacles so they can blindly grab stuff. But then I started realizing way more things have tentacles that also have eyes. It's funny to think that these things have evolutionarily developed a bullet hell mechanic. Presumably to catch prey. But you would think that a very slow, easily dodgeable projectile would be like the worst weapon in nature. I mean, you don't see squirrels carrying around 30 nuts and then throwing them at people. You do see them carrying it, but for different reasons. This is a gamer planet. It's a good answer. Nope, circled back. Silly me. I went down when I should have went... I went up when I should have went down. Conker throws nuts. I hate to break it to you, but Conker isn't real. Conker is a video game character. It's true. Squirrels can't talk either. What about Alvin and the Chipmunks? Well, those are an anomaly, but they're locked up for a reason. The longer I consider going with this joke, the more I don't. And won't. That feels a little... Sure. No questions. No follow-ups. Now this is fine. I only have the starting pistol, but this is fine. I'm locked in the room, but it's okay. All I need is a good angle. I lack brain. Well, it wouldn't be the first time. Note to self. Rooms are same. Don't be lying. Yeah, I read all those red letters on the side of the screen. It said gibberish. Yeah, this game is pretty good, but there's no emote button, unfortunately. So that's gonna take it down a few stars. One of these days, the lesson will ingrain itself one day. But not today. You gotta learn somehow. Beautiful. Oh. I'm surprised more people... people are discussing it. That Valve is sort of doing with Counter-Strike exactly what Blizzard did with Overwatch. Which is just call it a 2, change the monetization model, and then close the old game. I never played a whole lot of CSGO. I have a lot of friends who are pretty pissed that you can no longer play CSGO as it was. You have to play CS2. I'm surprised. I'm not surprised that Valve would want to iterate on CS. I am shocked that they would have the audacity to make the previous version unplayable. I will agree with one sentiment that most people have had, which is that CS2 is mostly a bunch of visual upgrades for a player base that where 95% of players will lower the graphics settings to the lowest possible one. Like, wow, the water and smoke looks awesome for the 5% of players that won't lower their settings. The big thing I heard, and again, it's all word of ear to me, since I'm not a CS player, was that a lot of the game feels different. Like, physically, like the way guns work, the way movement works, it just feels not quite as tuned as Go was. Which is weird, because I mean, I know Source 2 is a very iterated engine, but you would have imagined most of that could have been preserved. Players lower their settings in CS to maximize performance. A lot of people in esports in general do that, where they want to turn off anything that could cost them frames. But the thing about Source is you can lower them way more than intended just through config files. The Source engine, you can strip out almost all of the framework for all of the visuals and just end up with solid textures in a lot of games. Like TF2, a lot of competitive players use custom configs to make the game look like shit but run, you know, marginally better for Source standards. Which makes it funny that they would update the engine for graphics in one of the most competitive esports out there. They should call it something in between 1 and 2. Maybe 1.6. I'll say one thing. I'll say 1.6 things about 1.6. And that for whatever reason, they implemented the ability to synchronize your voice chat with your character model. For some reason, CS 1.6 had a function that let... whenever you talk through voice chat, your character model's mouth would move. Depending on what you were playing. And then they removed that. And we haven't seen that in a Source game since, which is weird because that's a really cool idea to me. I guess it's a performance thing, but it just seems cool as fuck. Or is that 1.2? I don't know, but... cool engine. Rust does that? Yeah, Rust is one of the 10 games on the market that still does lip sync. For whatever reason. That's the biggest thing I'll never forgive Overwatch for. Their mouths don't move when they talk. Sorry, I'm beating a dead horse, so I'll leave it there. It reduces melee damage? That's fine. I didn't even know there was a melee button. Sounds like a straight upgrade to me. I've come too far to die now. I almost died. But I didn't. There's one more health in this room. Am I gonna do something for 1 million subscribers? I might do something for 1.05 million subscribers. Because I will not be ready for when it happens. But, yeah. I'll have something later on. $3 days? No. No, I have like a month. Probably. Alright. I got one more run in me. The real run. The run where I get out of the tutorial. This is the no fooling around. No clowning, no tomfoolery. No, not even any hijinks. This is the run. Dare I say, not an ounce of thumb twiddling either. No reading chat. Well, let's not go that far. My eyes might wander now and then. He says running into a fucking bullet. One of those buttons was my dash. Oh yeah, there was like a Deep Rock Galactic thing recently. Like they did a sort of announcement update thing, which is that they're making another game called Deep Rock Galactic Armored Core, and it kind of just looks like Deep Rock DLC, but they're making it a whole standalone game, which is a little weird. It seems like something it would make more sense to just put in the base game. But for whatever reason, they have pulled off from updating Deep Rock, and now they're just doing a bunch of sort of spin-off games, which I don't mind. They look interesting. Armored Core seemed like a PvE campaign where you're going to like the core of Hoxus. They're being a little secretive about what it is. I kind of get the impression it might have something to do with Carl. I know you're not playing as... like, everyone is playing as the same type of dwarf. You just have like a pickaxe and a pistol at the start. So there aren't classes in Armored Core. Which is interesting, because a big appeal of Deep Rock Galactic is that each player serves a different purpose. So I'm interested to see what the hell they're doing. It's definitely enough to warrant being its own game. And I trust pirate ship game, ghost ship games to make it good. I was hoping they would update Deep Rock to be a new event and not just Rock Pox for another 8 months. Because I've gotten a little tired of it. It's Rogue Core. What did I say Armored Core? Did I call it Armored Core? Well, it's Rogue Core. But my description of it was correct. Yeah, a couple of wires in my brain got crossed there. Wouldn't it be awesome if it was Deep Rock Galactic Armored Core? I'd play that game. No, Deep Rock Rogue Core is the name of the game. Weird roguelike PvE something. Looks cool. I have not played Armored Core since I mentioned it. It's one of many games on my list this year. Which is weird, because it's a mech game, and usually that's enough to sell me. I think I'm almost intimidated. I saw pictures of people holding their controller backwards. Like literally looking at the back of the controller. And that was enough to make me think, yeah, no, I'm not ready. I need to go hone my skills for 5 years on a controller. Just to be half ready for Armored Core. I'm still not entirely convinced I can't interact with that orange thing. But for the time being, I will move along. Also, thanks, Trifonte. This is the first time I've seen a health pack and not needed it. That's character growth. I'm not going out that easy. Feels like the run. Still only using a pistol though. What's the coolest pistol in video games? I'm trying to think about it. I don't have a good answer. Like, my brain goes to, like, the Halo pistol, but that's not cool. Maybe, like, the Desert Eagle in Left 4 Dead. That thing has a wallop. The one in Titanfall. The Wingman? Shit, the Wingman's pretty good, yeah. Ultra Kill Marksman. If we're going for purely style, the Marksman might win. Arguably, the Marksman was based off the Wingman. So, by grandfather rules, the Wingman might be the coolest pistol. These are valid answers. All valid answers. I might... You know what? Might be controversial. I kind of want to go with the smart pistol. Thematically, it's a cool as fuck gun. Mechanically, it's a cool as fuck gun. Like, you're not going to act like the smart pistol level wasn't one of the funnest parts of the Titanfall 2 campaign. Like, that's literally a pistol with BT's memories in it, I think. Or, well, no, but he gives you it. And it has a knife included. That's a 2-for-1 deal. It allows you to focus on movement. That really is one of the coolest parts of using that gun. People always, like, shit on others who use Smart Pistol in Titanfall 2 multiplayer. I think if you get mad when you get killed by a Smart Pistol, I think you need to genuinely get good. I think the best players are ones who accept that on the battlefield, the rules are not always even. You're going to face an opponent that's going to use something cheap. And if you're truly good, you will rise above it rather than blame your loss on a weapon. If you get killed by a Smart Pistol, you failed to counterplay it. I'm not saying it isn't, like, annoying or objectively super strong. I'm just saying, sometimes you gotta rise to the challenge, bro. Sometimes you gotta just move with the river. You can't always fight the current. You can't always get mad that the current is flowing the wrong way, bro. In conclusion, yeah, that's the coolest pistol. TF2 players blaming the beasts instead of reflecting on themselves. Yeah. Wouldn't get mad at a lion for having fangs. I beat a pseudo boss, so I'm feeling good about myself. Still scared I'm not gonna find another weapon before I meet that red dude. But things are moving along. Not today. I've already taken some malignancy, and I still don't even totally know what that is. But I've already taken some. I didn't expect fortune cookie wisdom. Well, that's actually one of the basic tenets of Taoism and a lot of Eastern philosophies. Which is just, sometimes shit's out of your control, it's beyond it. And rather than pitching a fit, you kind of just roll with it. Adapt. Overcome. I'm just applying Eastern philosophy to a video game. To Titanfall 2. As normal neurotypical people do. Gotta adapt. Funk, do you read philosophy? Let me think about the answer to that. I'm thinking. Not as much as I'd like to. Oh. I forgot. My malfunction is that I will literally take damage for every weapon I grab. Like, I'll do a lot of light reading on random Buddhist stuff, like the Dharma Wheel. Or, the Four Noble Truths. I like the kind of philosophy that can be sort of surmised down into a memorable, I don't know, lesson, mantra. Just a reminder. I'm not someone who, like, really abstainates from breaking my own rules. I don't have like I don't live by anything other than that's probably a bad way to say it. I live by things. I have standards, but there isn't like a specific philosophy that I construct all my decisions around. Why didn't I take the max health? Well, technically I'll suffer damage if I grab it, and I don't know if it'll heal me after that, or if it'll... I'm already kind of full health. Honestly, I'll grab it. It's not this one. It's, well... This is my last cycle around here, I promise. And I'll leave the room. Oh, okay, that doesn't count as an item. Good. I agree with what you're saying, but I hate how you're saying it. Yeah, I'm not known for my public speaking, fortunately. It's been a while since I read Tao Te Ching, so I have to remember how well worded it is. Which honestly isn't even that well worded. Oh, that's cool. Sounded deranged. Yeah, I think it's because, and someone said it earlier, which is like the difference between acceptance and indifference are a very important distinction. I'm trying to remember a good way to simplify it, and I'm clearly blanking. I think, like, you can disagree with something without letting it affect your internal psyche. And just because you avoid letting, like, getting killed by a smart pistol piss you off, or, like, use it as an excuse, it doesn't mean you agree with that on a design principle. It's just like a general outlook on life. Like when you get treated an unfair card, when you feel like someone cheated. Like how practical is it to just get mad over that as opposed to understanding why it bothers you? And ultimately accepting that the smart pistol exists even if you don't agree with it. Attachment to fairness or honor. Yeah, I guess it ultimately all comes back to attachment. Because you feel attached to a sense of, well, like ego, but just like feeling like you didn't deserve to get killed by a smart pistol. Okay, I think I'm starting to get deranged again, because I'm stream of consciousnessing this while also trying to focus. So I'm going to stop doing that and just try to play the game. I'll do them one at a time. Well, one of the big takeaways from the Tao Te Ching that I actually liked was that detachment isn't deciding that you don't care about anything. It's not nihilism and saying like, oh, if I lose all my money and all my friends, it's not like saying like I don't need friends, I don't need money. That's not what detachment is. Detachment is ultimately coming to terms with the fact that you can lose those things. That you can lose friends, you can lose money, and that it's impractical to cling to them. And to become so convinced you can't live without them that you refuse to accept when you lose them. Detachment isn't like becoming so devoid of feeling that you are untethered to happiness. It is accepting that happiness is a temporary thing that comes and goes, and that you don't have to cling to it so that it'll never go away. That's kind of what detachment is to me. Which I actually do think is a generally good life philosophy. Appreciating what you have, but accepting that you are not obligated or entitled to have it forever. The ability to move on, in a sense. You can have an attachment to like lessons you learned from like learning about yourself through a friendship or a thing you had. Because if you're so detached, then you also risk never learning because you detach yourself from ever extracting meaning from anything. But you fundamentally do need to extract meaning from stuff. You just can't cling to it. Alright, I am walking backwards. It's not good. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to have smart pistol, I just have dice roll on. Fair enough. It's impermanence, yeah. Everything changes. That's why I like kept using the river metaphor. Like going with water, going with the flow. Because, you try to stay still in a heavy current, you're still gonna move. You seem lost. Nuh-uh. These doors I haven't been to, and I have a key. So watch this. Boom. A Jedi is never lost. Yeah, I would not mind that. It was worth it. Worth the key. I apologize if I've ever talked about this on stream, because it sounds like the kind of shit I probably said 40 times. But I found it interesting how stoicism is almost akin to fire, which is that when life throws you hardship, you should turn it into a fuel and sort of burn brighter for it. And it is an effective school of thought when applied correctly, but it's also very abrasive. It is very much sort of clinging, attaching yourself to your hardships and then growing from them, which is valid. But Taoism and a lot of like Eastern philosophy, you'll notice they're much more like go with the flow, be like water, be like air. They are much more fluid and less abrasive. They're much more about being formed by your environment. A lot of those schools of thought are like, a lot of shit's out of your control. It's gonna bother you, but ultimately you're gonna be happier if you allow yourself to change from it. Not necessarily use hardship as fuel, but use hardship as a reminder of how impermanent and fleeting life is. It's a different kind of fuel, but it's a significantly different outlook. And being like water isn't a weakness, because if you put a rock in a stream and wait 100 years, that rock's gonna erode and be gone. All through the power of water. So being water doesn't mean being passive necessarily, though you could interpret it that way, I guess. Water can be really destructive. It's just typically much more adaptive, and I don't know, like water can be calm, whereas a fire, I guess a fire, like a candlelight, could be calm too. I'm gonna slow down on the fire-water metaphors, but it is a cool simplification of those different schools of thought. Because when I was younger, when I was like 14 or 15, I gravitated towards like stoicism and nihilism in that very insufferable way. Where it's like, man, if the world's gonna be unkind to me, then I'm gonna tough it out. And I'm gonna say, fuck the world. But it's kind of a dead end to think of philosophy that way, I feel like. Because you just end up a little vindictive.
They built protection
Start feeling meaningless.
centuries ago.
Now that's not to say like stoicism and nihilism aren't smart. They are. It's just when you're 15, it's easy to misinterpret what rising to the call means. It still takes 100 years, however. Yeah, but I mean, it doesn't mean your problems will take you 100 years to overcome. It just, in a metaphorical sense, water taking 100 years to break a rock just means that patience does pay dividends to some degree. Because in like Taoism, the biggest takeaway, pretty much the biggest takeaway I could take from it was to not be reactive. To not immediately do the first thing you want to do when something upsets you. It's to take it slow, think it out, and then make your decision on what you do. There's no popular philosopher that's a nihilist. Are you not counting Friedrich Nietzsche? because I can definitely name one famous nihilist. But if you mean modern philosophers, then I guess. Jim Carrey? I don't think Jim Carrey's a nihilist. What are we looking at here? Ah, no. Nope. I think this is the boss, boss room. Oh, close enough. Nietzsche isn't a nihilist. I guess that is... I don't know. I understand that he wrote about nihilist adjacent philosophy, but he wasn't a self-proclaimed nihilist, I guess. But I feel like you're splitting hairs if you act like Nietzsche is not representative of what modern nihilism is. I think I just killed the guy that kept killing me. Oh yeah. He wrote about nihilism and how not to be one. Oh shit, well, shows what I know about it. I still think describing nihilism as a path of not being a nihilist can land you in the history books as a nihilist, or at least as a teacher of nihilism. Which again, at that point you're splitting hairs to... I guess it's not splitting hairs to say he's not a nihilist, but it might be splitting hairs to say that he doesn't have a connection to nihilism. But I don't think you're saying that. One of the... all I know about Nietzsche is that like some of his family members were like Nazi apologists or Nazis or whatever. And so even though Nietzsche himself was not a Nazi or a Nazi apologist or adjacent, a lot of his work ended up associated with World War II Germany through association. Because after he died, a lot of people in his life tried to reprint and reframe his work. And it ended up getting associated with, like, Nazism and stuff. But in reality, Nietzsche's writing was actually pretty secular in nature. That is a unopenable door. But I haven't actually, like, really read Nietzsche's work. Just a couple of offhand quotes and pages. Creates a Xenospike. I kind of like, I'll try it. But I do kind of like having my alt fire recharge. I saw that model load in, get culled out. What the fuck? What are you? What are you? I thought the room was cleared. This is my first time playing Returnal. I mean, it's not my first run, but today is the first time I played this game. That was the suit signal. Oh. I did say that would be my last run, but this is happening.
Discovered a strange device that is already active. It feels alive.
It looks alive.
Any information in scanning.
Not alive now. Is this just the tutorial on how to pick up an item and I just never walked over here? It'd be funny if that was the case. Okay. Yeah, as much as I actually do want to keep playing this, it's getting to be 1 AM over here. And I think it's probably my calling point. I apparently have some reading to do. I gotta go read some Nietzsche so I can have the authority to talk about it. So I'm... I just learned of this feature. Forget everything I said. I'm going to be busy for the next 2 minutes. Oh wow, you actually have a lot of control here. Okay, I'm not going to find the perfect shot. But rule of thirds. No. Sure. Can't change the color, can I? Fuck, this could be the whole game for me, honestly. Bloom. I'm not a big fan of Bloom, personally. Oh, I can add a logo. Yeah, if I want to ruin my composition, I'll totally do that. Okay, okay. I'm gonna end the stream there, but I am 100% gonna keep playing this game, probably throughout some of the next streams too. Returnal, everybody. If you didn't know the name of the game, that's what it is.